All right, today we want to talk about some differences that we see in genetics. Mendel's laws are applicable to how genes move from mom, dad to kids. However, they're not very applicable in how they are presented in what we see. Mendel had his pea plants. He was lucky in the traits he had were either tall or short, purple flower or white flower, green pea or yellow pea. He had very distinct differences when he did this. In humans, we don't see that. We are all over the place. We have a few traits here and there that can either be this or that. But for the most part, that's a pretty rare thing. So we're going to go over a couple of differences we see in humans, and we see some of these in plants as well. And that is complete dominance or incomplete dominance. Or, yeah, those are the two we're going to talk about today. All right. So let's talk about carnations. So we have red carnations and white carnations. And carnations follow typical complete dominance. If you've got one R gene, you're going to be red. Doesn't matter if you've got one of these little R's, one of these white genes there or not. If you've got one dominant red gene, you're going to be red. Only way to be white is they have two recessive traits, little r in this case. And we name them little r because even though it stands for white, it is the recessive trait of the red gene. It's always done as little r. All right. So if we look at the heterozygote and we see that, hey, there's a red thing there, we know that R is the dominant gene. It's completely dominant to the white gene. All right. So if we're doing our Punnett square and we're looking at a dihybrid, or a monohybrid, sorry, because we're only looking at one trait, red or white, looking at color. So if we got our hybrid here, one big R goes there, the little r goes there. Same with the side here, the big R goes there, little r goes there. We have two, but your gametes only carry one of those genes. So in the case of plants, its pollen is the male part. So one pollen particle will have a big R, the other one will have a little r. So when you fill out the Punnett square the same way, so you'll have big R, big R, big R, little r, big R, little r, and here we've got little r, little r. That should be up there. So we'll have our 3-to-1 ratio, 25% white, 75% red that we saw with regular Mendel. So that's complete dominance. It's just a review. All right, and let's take a look again, though, at some other situations. Incomplete dominance. For some reason, one of our old teachers thought that codominance and incomplete dominance was the same. It's not, but we'll look at it. So let's look at roses instead of carnations. So if we take a red rose and we made it to a white rose, we don't get red roses. We would get a pink rose. You get a blending, an in-between. This is referred to as incomplete dominance. It's something in the middle. So if we look at this heterozygous thing, that should be big R, little r, we get pink. So we get something totally different. We get something in the middle, a blending. So that's a way you know it's an incomplete dominant situation. All right, so the genes are still passed on the same way. It's just how you read the colors instead. So this looks just like the carnations did before, but when we actually look at the phenotypes, every one that was big R, little r is pink. So we get an extra color in there. So half of them are going to be pink, 1/4 are white, 1/4 are red. So that's referred to as incomplete dominance. All right, now codominance, there are certain traits that are codominance. The best one is blood typing. Do we have any of that? Here we go. Yeah, we do put blood typing up. Codominance means you see both genes. So most of the world is type O. America has a high German population, so you'll see the type A there. But if you have a B gene from somebody and an A gene from somebody, you can get AB blood. And that's an example of codominance. So codominance, you actually see both traits. So if we were looking at colors, there's often a color referred to as roan, which is kind of this light red, sometimes brownish color. If you actually look at the hairs of the horses or dogs that are roan or cows that are roan, and you look at their individual hair, you'll see there's white on the hair and red on the hair. We see both traits. Another one called the erminite chicken. So you get that by breeding a white chicken with a black chicken. The feathers will actually have black and white spots on them. So they have both traits. Codominance, we see both traits. Incomplete dominance, we see a blending of in between. So if we were talking about another trait, say hypercholesterolemia, that's when you make too much cholesterol. If you've got two of those hypercholesterolemia traits, you make so much cholesterol that it's actually embedding cholesterol products in your skin. There's a lot of cholesterol there. If you don't have either of those traits, you have very low cholesterol. So you would be definitely under 150 or something like that. And if you've got one copy of each, you would have a blending. You'd have something in the middle. That's another example of incomplete dominance. So incomplete dominance, you have a blending. Codominance, you see both. All right, so now you have an Edulastic quiz to take. Make sure you're using your notes. It is open note as well. So follow your notes and do well. And again, these are practices. If you want to retake the Edulastic quiz again, just let me know and I'll reset the test for you. All right, that ends this.